my homies are asking what I'm so mad at. The human race is enslaved, I can't see past that. And I'm sick of being treated like a lab rat, turning all our lives into a joke that they can laugh at. Life is supposed to be an adventure where you're free to roam, but to most people having freedom isn't even known. Free-range humans that don't even know that their freedom's gone. When you start seeking a reason, all roads will lead to Rome. The Holy Roman Empire, it never really fell. They control everything under the dome in which we dwell. They want Earth to be exactly the way it is in hell. They stole your mind and they turned it into a prison cell. Kept in the matrix, you must beware of the agents. You might just stare in amazement once you're aware and awakened. All this deception is blatant, kind of embarrassing, ain't it? There is nowhere they won't take it, and now it's time that we change it. This is our world, and there is no changing the facts. We came to take it all back. It's time to reclaim it. This is our world, and we will go out with a fight. We will stand up for what's right. We won't tolerate it. This is our world, and we just won't take anymore. Ready to take it to war. No way to escape it. This is our world. There's nowhere to run or to hide. Plus we have God on our side. You ain't gonna make it. This is our world. Open up your eyes. Look where we are. The Zionists and Jesuits took it too far. The conditions that we live in are truly bizarre. Time to rip up this entire system and pull it apart. I knew from the start that this battle will not be easy. I try to wake people up to truth and they still don't believe me. They keep the poor people poor, meanwhile the rich just grow greedy. We're gonna have to stand up to them cause they will not go freely. Everything you think you know is wrong, I bet that's a surprise. They slapped a bow on top and sold us a package of lies. From ancient knowledge and true wisdom, they have us deprived. We gotta fight, the only chance that we have to survive. We're fed up, we've had it with this stupid ass establishment. Everything they preach to us and teach us is inaccurate. We have had enough of this, we're angry and we're about to flip. They don't know how crazy it's about to get. This is our world, and there is no changing the facts. We came to take it all back. It's time to reclaim it. This is our world, and we will go out with a fight. We will stand up for what's right. We won't tolerate it. This is our world, and we just won't take anymore. Ready to take it to war. No way to escape it. This is our world. There's nowhere to run or to hide. Plus we have God on our side. You ain't gonna make it. This is our world. This is our world. This is our world. This is our world. This is our world.
That you can't take part. You can't even passively take part. And you've got to put your bodies upon the gears and upon the wheels, upon the levers, upon all the apparatus, and you've got to make it stop. And you've got to indicate to the people who run it, to the people who own it, that unless you're free, the machine will be prevented from working at all.
All right, we're live.
Good evening, truth seekers.
I hope everybody's having a fairly uneventful Wednesday. Because it's never good when things happen that's not planned. I mean, just think about it, where we are in the United States, things aren't looking too good for us, but it could be a lot worse. We could be in the Chinese system where they just shut down everyone's QR codes, which means they can't get public transportation or anything because of health reasons, and they can't pay for anything because everything's ran through that QR code. They can't even go to their bank and withdraw money because of their QR code, health reasons. So basically, they have the ability to cut people off from their livelihood. I think it's one of those things to where just be glad you were born where you were born and you live where you live, because it could be worse. So no matter how bad you think, you may have it, there's always someone out there that is a lot worse off than you are. The old adage of, I felt sorry for myself because I didn't have shoes till I met a man with no feet. But,
I like that quote. It's a good quote.
it kind of puts things into perspective when you think about it. Because when like, okay, what did you get out of it? Because I got something out of it that's probably different than what you got out of it.
Well, I mean, what I got out of it is, I mean, they feel like they have it bad, but I mean, other people, I mean, if I guess they're saying like, I don't have shoes because I'm like homeless or something, and then, well, it could be worse. You could not even be able to walk.
Yeah, you could have to scoot yourself around on a skateboard.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
Oh no, that wouldn't be bad. That would be horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, because your hands would be all scuffed up from the grip tape and touching the asphalt all day, be all dirty. That'd be horrible.
To the grocery store would probably be pretty hard.
And see, I know what you meant by bad. Like, that would not be good. But a lot of people will say, "Oh, that would be bad." Like, "Oh, that would be good." It's like, see what I mean? Where, we were talking about this earlier, Sasha, where that over time people will, or the slang will destroy the language by making something that's negative seem good. Like when somebody says, "Dude, that's wicked," meaning it's sick, or when they say, "Oh, it's sick," these are all negative things.
Or when they
But it
say,
means
"I'm
good
dead,"
things. Yeah,
I'm dead. Or they say,
exactly.
"Shoot fire."
I'm bad. You know it.
So it's like, I know you can see it, right? So like, say for instance, when somebody sits there and says, "Oh, you need to listen to this comedian. He's so funny. He cracks me up." It's like, no, literally, you shouldn't be saying that, because you're saying that it puts you in a laughing fit so hard that you actually fall down and break your bones.
Actually, the
That's right.
term cracking up or crack a smile is referring to when they used to wear wax on their faces in like the 1500s or whatever in France,
What?
maybe England too, and they'd crack a smile. I don't know about the cracking me up part, I guess, but it just made me think of it. My bad.
See, I did not know that.
I didn't know your side, so.
But the bottom line is, this is a very negative, right?
Right.
Like, you're not actually like getting broken up. So why are you saying that this will cause this? It's like the placebo effect, right? And that's all magic is a placebo. So if you deny magic, then you must also deny the placebo effect. Because the placebo effect is mind over matter, right? magic has always been known as a way of healing things, not necessarily the Nazi, Disney, bibbity bobbity boo, sorcery, Mickey Mouse, conjuring stuff. That's all make believe. But I don't want to go down this road even further because I'm on FluffTube and fake books, so
I object.
but I mean, bottom line is when you have no more family, like when there's no more family structure, because family structure is destroyed and broken because people want to change the name of words and what words mean. Like parents, your parents now are not parents. What are they called, Sasha? Birthing pair?
Birthing people.
Birth givers.
Yeah, what the hell? You don't see a problem with that? I do.
They belong to the state.
Well, that's even in the word parent, right? Because what does parent mean? A pair who rents.
Oh wow, that's
So
clear. I didn't even realize that.
yeah, so why do they say, oh, we need a parent or a legal guardian, right? Well, why do you need a singular pair who rents? Then if they're destroying that bond of that pair, then you know what I mean? Like, then who should be summoned? I mean,
Mm.
at that point, when they say, oh, we need a parent or legal guardian, it's like, well, no, anyone of the community, since I'm the community, can sign off on it. So just let me do what I want to do. See, they don't see the slippery slope that they're on, right? A lot of people say it's liberalism, but liberalism means charity. I would say it's more of postmodernism, where they want to take something that is changed and change it more.
They want to make everything subjective.
Uh-huh.
They want to make it so we live in a post-truth society, so people don't even care about truth. I mean, that's kind of what postmodernism is. It's like deconstructing everything and building it all back up, but I don't know.
So you're saying like the Build Back Better?
Oh, true, yeah.
Build what back? It's still standing. This is just a communistic mindset from the father of Obama. Yeah, Obama's father is that communist guy.
Are you talking about Karl Marx?
No, I'm not talking about Mrs. Soreto. I'm talking about his real father, the person that he wrote the book about. The communist dude.
The Communist Manifesto?
No, he was a communist in Cuba. Cuban communist.
Yeah,
I can't
listen,
remember his name.
just look up Obama, my real father. You get videos on it. He wrote a book about it. This is common knowledge.
Like Mr. Soreto may have been his birth father, but he took his ideals and his upbringing and his political ideology from another, who he calls his father. Some would even say that's who really raised him, but I don't want to get into it because I wasn't around in the 70s and I wasn't in with the in crowd and observing him, so I can't say neither here nor there. I'm just saying that's what the conjecture is. So
The theory is that Justin Trudeau's father was the leader of Cuba. I forgot his name. Fidel Castro.
yeah, they do kind of look alike.
Well, I've heard that theory before, but I don't think I believe it.
Yeah, I think that's because they look alike. They got the long face.
But the Obama one's real.
Obama one, what?
The Obama has like a fake
The book
father.
that he wrote, yes. Tales of My Father, yes.
Okay.
It's from his own words.
Right.
It's an autobiography. It's not a biography, so he wrote it himself.
Well, no, he could never produce his birth certificate. Trump had gave him like the $1 million challenge back way before he ever thought about running. And then the Columbia University transcripts are in question too.
Marshall Davis.
Yes.
So who exactly is Obama?
Well, who's Obama's mama? Right.
His mom was
Conjecture is
political military father. Couldn't have his daughter having a kid by a communist and be known. So he got a foreign exchange student to take the banner for her. I can get a documentary video if you want.
when you look at Miss Dunway, you'll realize that she was adopted, and she was adopted from Germany. And her age is of that age to where she was 1 year, or she was about 3 years old when Hitler was killed or whatever, right? The story is that Obama's mom, Miss Dunway, her real last name is Braun, and it's the daughter of Ava and Adolf. So there's that. And then there's a link between the Rothschild family and Adolf's father. So, I mean, if you get into it, you'll realize that all points lead back to Rome. And if all points lead back to Rome, and you look at the other conspiracies and realize that they date or they point towards a financial system or a queen. So it's like the triple eagle empire, the finance, the ruling power, and the religious power. That's who runs everything. Doesn't matter where you are, who runs the ruling power, who runs the military, and who runs the religion is who is in power. So I'm going to go ahead and say it. Utopia is nice, but it can never happen if there's more than one religion or more than one viewpoint. Right? So all of these other viewpoints must go away in order for the consensus to be on the same teal. Like how you were saying earlier, Sasha, it's a consensus, an agreed upon consensus. The only problem with that is when there's an agreed upon consensus to where majority agree upon something, it's usually because the other ones that would not agree with it are no longer around to not agree with it, or no longer have a voice to disagree. So, yeah. Everybody in Texas, heads up, guys. The reason why the exodus from California has been invading is because the Californians are going to vote in your state to get rid of your guns. That's what's really going on. And Californians are a virus. It's a plague upon the land. Everywhere they go, they turn into Democrat donkey shit.
Well, that's part of communism. You know, you come in, you infiltrate all steps of the state.
I'm going to go ahead and say this. Hey, Junior Biden, motherfucker. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Come on, man. Seriously. If you think that we don't need firearms, then tell your Secret Service agents to relinquish their firearms right now. If you really don't think we need firearms, then perhaps you need to re-examine the Constitution and read it verbatim for us on your little teleprompter.
He just wants to give guns to the Ukrainians.
So what does it say? Unalienable right. By God. Not man. Fuck man. Man is powerless. You think you have power? You only have power because you have been ordained to be in the position that you're in. Trump stepped outside of his bounds. That's why the kingdom was taken from him. You're way stepped outside of your bounds, Mr. Science Boy. Come on, man. Every word that comes out of your mouth is a lie. We were given the Second Amendment. It was granted to us because how was the United States founded? Upon war, upon destroying the leading people, the leading government, the rulers. We destroyed them, took away their livelihood, kicked them out of the land, took away a lot of their gross domestic product and turned it into our own gross domestic product. And it was all over hemp, all over cannabis. Had nothing to do with tea.
Do you have any documents or videos on that? I would love to watch some stuff on that.
I'm going to have to get into my books and get into my lexicon on the Revolutionary War.
Oh, that's okay. I'd be down to read something if you have something to provide or to point me to.
The thing is just common sense. The ship was sailing in the morning. Why would tea still be loaded on the ship that was set sail in the morning? Was tea coming from the United States or was it coming to the United States from India? And then what was to be sent back to Europe from America as a form of taxation? Cannabis fibers for rope and sail. So would it make more sense that they had the cargo loaded that was to be shipped at dawn? Instead of when the sun comes up, they would unload the ship and load the ship up and then start sailing at sunset. Doesn't make sense, does it? I mean, common sense when it comes to history will tell you that certain things are not what they seem.
Right.
I mean, they tell us that, the Sons of Liberty is what secured our freedom. Well, the Sons of Liberty were stationed, that militia was stationed out of a Freemasonic hall. in Boston, Massachusetts. So is it Sons of Liberty? Or would it be the Sons of the Fallen Angels? All right. Liberty, Nike. Anyways, perhaps this is too advanced for some people. But I wish this wind would slow down a little bit. I don't even know where the encyclopedia is right now. I got those physician desk reference books and all that other stuff, but that don't help you with nothing. Oh, did you guys hear that news? I can't remember who put the article out. Come on, Sam. But there is a survey, 100 and 100 done. And it turns out that those that identify politically as white liberal male tend to suffer and have a history of suffering from mental illness. And those that are white men that identify as conservative have never been diagnosed with mental illness. Now, I'm wondering what they classify as mental illness. I'm wondering if cognitive dissonance, because it is a mental disorder, I wonder if that's classified as an illness. Because we see cog dissonance all the time.
Faulty programming.
Okay, I found an article from cushqueencannabis.com. It's Hemp and the Revolutionary War by D.M. Blunted. It says last year the 2018 Farm Bill was passed which legalized the growth of hemp for industrial farming across the United States. The passing of this bill looks like looks like potential relief for some of the troubles that many American farmers are facing today, with the decline of industries like tobacco and dairy and the after effects of a messy trade war with China that's causing the rapid decline in soybean sales. It's been rough out here for farmers, but hemp could turn out to be a lucrative and sustainable crop for the farming folk, like it once was decades ago. Before the war on drugs put the final nail in hemp's pre-1950s booming era, it was a vital crop to the United States from the moment it was introduced to Jamestown in 1616. Hemp was important not only for the colonies, but for the British Crown as well. Hemp was durable and reliable and perfect to make cloth, paper, and sacks, but most importantly, rope. As the British Navy expanded, so did its need for the rot-resistant hemp fibers to set sail on the seas to colonize the new lands. By 1632, every farmer within the colonies was expected to reserve spaces on their land to grow hemp and flax. While hemp was a quick and replenishable crop to grow, it was also a backbreaking crop to harvest. From planting, harvesting, and processing the cash crop, it all required grueling and some time-consuming labor. So it is really surprising that industries like hemp are connected to the boom of the Atlantic slave trade in the United States. It was only 13 years after the 13 colonies were introduced to hemp that the first enslaved West Africans were brought to Jamestown. Their import was shortly followed by laws that made the growth of hemp mandatory in all colonies. States like Virginia and Kentucky, that had the largest slave populations, also grew and flourished off of the most labor-intensive crops, hemp, tobacco, cotton. Historian John Hopkins suspected this very theory and wrote in 1951, "Without hemp, slavery may not have flourished in Kentucky, since other agricultural products of the state were not conducive to the extensive use of bondsmen. On the hemp farm and in the hemp factories, the need for laborers was filled to a large extent by the use of Negro slaves. By 1774, the colonies were a leading producer and exporter of hemp goods to Britain, all due to slave labor and growing increasingly tired of the British Crown's taxation without representation being a leader in the production of hemp. The colonies had a surplus of it, so much of it that they were able to trade hemp for arms with the French. On April 18th, 1775, hundreds of British soldiers were marching towards Concord, Massachusetts to confiscate a stockpile of arms and ammunitions and possibly tar and feather a few folks. But when they approached, they were greeted with arms and ready Minutemen. This is where the shot heard round the world was well shot, and the start of the deadly 4-year war that spoiler alert, the colonists won. It's unfortunate that the interest of paper, plastic, and nylon, that hemp was run into the ground. But with its fresh legalization, I look towards the witnessing of the innovations that are sure to come with the freedom to grow it. But just as I look forward to the future of hemp, I will always look back to its painful anti-black past. This July 4th, don't think of fireworks and cookouts, but think of the enslaved West Africans that helped grow the crops that funded the war, as well as enslaved the West Africans that fought and lost their lives for the freedom of the promise of freedom. So, there's the link. And then the link to the article. I hate this phone so much. So, Revolutionary War was because we decided to mess with their livelihood, right? We're going to play Dear NASA from ODD TV and SoundCloud version, so you may not be used to what it sounds like because it's a little different.
Space may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement. Space may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement. Space may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement. Space may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement.
Have you ever dreamed of going up to outer space? Or maybe meeting other beings from another place? Have you ever wondered what it's like on other planets? Then you watch a science show and come to believe you understand it? You feel empowered by the knowledge and you feel enlightened. Listening to Bill Nye and Neil deGrasse Tyson. But then you wake up and you start to see the obvious. Life is just a lie and this whole world ain't what we thought it was. NASA's missions to the moon were never completed. They just filmed them in a room and people believe it. I used to wonder what it's like to be an astronaut. Now when I see them acting, I can't help but to laugh a lot. They give us cartoons and they claim that we live on a ball. But it's flat and it's not moving or spinning at all. Why you lying to us, man? That's something that we want to know. After that, you're gonna have to pack up all your stuff and go.
Space may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement. Space may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement. Space may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement. Space may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement.
History has been history written by winners of wars. The Jesuit order, Khazars, Freemasons, and more. They pulled the veil over our eyes and it's time to awaken. Through organized indoctrination, our minds have been taken. It's time we take our power back and we rescue our people. The Vatican and the bankers are like Resident Evil. They may have had the greatest plan that was ever concocted, but Illuminati never thought that they'd ever be spotted. They're manufacturing reality all in our heads. They tell you if the earth is flat then you'll fall off the edge, but if it is a spinning ball you won't fall off it then. And gravity is our imaginary magic friends. Why is water always flat when unmanipulated? Why are pictures of the earth computer generated? Why you lying to us, man? That's something that we want to know. After that you're gonna have to pack up all your stuff and go.
Space may be the final frontier, but it's made in the Hollywood basement. Space may be the final frontier, but it's made in the Hollywood basement. Space may be the final frontier, but it's made in the Hollywood basement. Space may be the final frontier, but it's made in the Hollywood basement.
Dear NASA, it's becoming 100% crystal clear that you and the other space programs that are in operation are connected and are deceiving the entire world. More and more people are waking up every single day. And we're now able to see right through you. But what we really want to know is, why are you lying? And did you really think that you would get away with it? It's time to pack all your stuff and go. Sincerely, the men, women, and children of this earth, our beautiful, flat earth.
Space may be the final frontier, but it's made in the Hollywood basement. Space may be the final frontier, but it's made in the Hollywood basement. Space may be the final frontier, but it's made in the Hollywood basement. Space may be the final frontier, but it's made in the Hollywood basement.
Why you lying to us, man? That's something that we want to know. After that you're gonna have to pack up all your stuff and go.
Never sleep again, 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 never sleep again.
Yep. I've only had one viewer this whole stream.
Once you are awake, it is almost impossible to fall back to sleep again. Once you discover that the Earth is not a spinning globe, but a flat and stationary plane with a firmament above it, everything changes. The trusted voices and satanic scientific priests who once shaped our reality and understanding of the world are no longer reliable. Our first-hand experience of the
What's up,
Earth
rookie?
as a
Well, there you guys are. I thought maybe I wasn't being able to hear you or you were cutting out or something. 'Cause it was like, I saw everybody lit up or whatever. And I couldn't hear anything.
So you didn't hear that ODD song?
No, I just came. I just turned my headset. I mean, I just plugged my headset back into my head. And I hadn't been listening for a while, and then it was dead air. So I was like, you know, I didn't hear nothing. So that's why I was like, what happened?
No, nobody wants to talk. I'm just sitting here twiddling my thumbs, talking to you now.
I'll talk. What are we talking about? Something important, or are we just arguing about?
Choose a topic.
Something besides gender or, you know, those other things that we don't get along about.
Yeah, no hot topics. Like apparently gender is a hot topic. Apparently,
well, I don't mind talking about gender as long as everybody's going to, you know, act like normal people and not get all angry and start calling each other names. I mean, I'm ready for that. But I get it. You know, some people are really like rude, and then you got to call them names because otherwise they think they can just get away with being rude.
Yeah, but the thing is usually with gender, you can't talk about gender without bringing up like medicine.
True. You got a point.
So we don't want to talk about those.
Oh, right, that's right. We're live streaming. That's right. I forgot about that. I bet.
Could
okay, I got you.
Bearing.
So how about? Well, you know what? Gas pressure's blaring. Let's see what else. What's something I was talking to somebody about earlier today, and I can't remember what it is now. What? I hate that. You put me on the spot.
Well, are you familiar with the Overton window shift?
No, let's talk about it because I don't. So obviously, I need to hear about it. Or maybe I do know. I just don't know about that name. Maybe.
Well, I'm not exactly sure who Overton was, but I think he was one of these social engineer types.
Okay. Oh, okay.
But he's political science type guy, right? So he studies political science. And basically the Overton window is a particular era, the way that the conditions are in the world. The window's set up to where people that think a certain way will fall on a certain part of this window, on a certain part of this line of the left or the right. So over time, this window shifts, and it has been shifting consistently further and further left, to where what was once mid-right is now far right.
Wait, say that last bit again. Like what shifting in the system?
What was center is now considered right. What was staunch right, like midstream right, is now considered far right. And what was far right is considered far right fanatical. But the thing is what was once center left is now considered right, because it's shifting more to the right, or more. The shift is moving more towards in favor of the left.
Politically?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I can agree with those things. Sorry, I caught the tail end of it and trying to catch up for a sec. But yeah, I agree 100%.
So Wikipedia has a definition of Overton window. The Overton window is a range of policies politically acceptable to the mainstream population at a given time. It is also known as the window of discourse. So it usually moves either towards more freedom or less freedom. So more freedom is unthinkable, rational, acceptable, sensible, and then it moves towards the less freedom of unthinkable, radical, acceptable. So the radical and acceptable and unthinkable is on both sides. So we want to be more in the middle of the non-acceptable, more sensible, popular of policy, right? Policy based, more popular of what's good for the people and a sensible acceptance of the policy, not necessarily a radical acceptance of an unthinkable policy. Let's see, background. Yeah, Joseph Overton, American policy analyst. Yeah, that's who it was. Joseph Overton. But yeah, the window is shifting, and it's been shifting consistently. Let's see if I can't find an article.
There you go, saying the negative stuff again, man. I'm too funny.
Oh.
Well, there's a video. See, I wonder how good this one would be. The leftist of 10 years could be considered, say, a right wing today. The leftist of 10 years ago could be considered a right wing today. Right winger. So here. Well, this might help get you more acquainted with it if you're not really well versed and familiar with it. But you can see the way that the policy has changed just since in the last 20 years since 9/11, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm not looking at the thing you're looking at because I'm doing something at the same time. But just from what you're telling me, it makes sense to me.
Right. I mean, just looking at the chart that he has up there.
Well, this is Australian though, so. And this guy's legal guy, he's got all of his license numbers right there, so you can take what he says as true, I guess is what that means. Yeah, here we go. Medium.com. Things that were unthinkable are now possible, the Overton window. Times of crisis dramatically shift the Overton window. Things that were once unthinkable are now sensible, even popular. What is the Overton window? My God. Thank you. Okay, so what is the Overton window? The Overton window is used to grade ideas on a scale from unthinkable to popular. It is widely used by politicians, for example. Politico reported on how President Trump and his administration used it. Democrats use it too. Medicare for all was Medicare for all was a fringe idea for the first time Bernie Sanders compiled for his party's nominate or competed for his party's nomination. Now it's considered more mainstream. How can the Overton window help me? Visionaries and change makers naturally think outside the box, or in this case, the window. Things that seem radical to others are commensate, are commensurative to them. That's sometimes a curse, but right now it's a superpower. And I'm not going to read that. And then it goes on, this is an opportunity to help organizations, communities move beyond back to normal. Back to normal was insufficient because normal was broken, inequity was growing, the educational achievement gap was expanding, the middle class was shrinking. If you feel an obligation to see the future with better ideas to move the window towards the future, that works for more people. The Overton window is a good framework to use. But right now it's shifting more and more to the left. When Trump was in office, it did a hard shift to the left. Coincidentally, that's also coincides 2019 was the United States historical peak oil production year. No other nation produced as much oil ever as we had in 2019. So if the supply is up, why is the price up? Usually the price is up because the supply is low. Q 2005. Supply was low because the Gulf interruptions and the fact that we went into Iraq, which had some percentage, but it's more like 6% of the world market, where we produce a pretty large 30% of the world market of oil. So it wasn't about oil. It's about something else. Shoot, I guess you could say that the Overton window is used in conjunction with the Hegelian dialectic, problem, reaction, solution. So they create the problem because they have a solution and they want a certain reaction to the problem. And that reaction to the problem is what will cause the shift of this window, either in their favor or against their favor. So it's always in their favor when it's on the news. When it's just through not the mainstream and through word of mouth and conspiratorial circles, it's against their best interest. So it's considered non-truths because it shifts the Overton window against their favor. I mean, you can sit there and look at like all of the school tragedies, right? And consider that a problem where there's a definite solution to it, but they want us to shift the window in favor for that unthinkable thing of getting rid of the sticks. But people don't see it. And the basic thing is whenever somebody learns that the world is flat, it's usually not the first thing that they've found out that reality is not what we think it is. So don't think for a second that it's going to be the last thing that you find that disproves the consensus of reality. Because we've been Overton windowed. We've been shaped. Where's boys? Where's the can I be admin, please?
Yo.
What
Not much. I got tagged by 2 different people.
That don't sound good.
tag team?
You.
Yo, tag me in, yo.
Bruh.
As long as it wasn't Hulk Hogan and Jimmy Superfly Snuka.
So what are
Terry
you
and
doing?
Terry and Jimmy working that ass. That's an image I don't need to see.
Y'all just
Shit.
goofing around.
I'm watching The Ghost in the Darkness. My daughter turned it on. I've seen it before. Guy hunting lions while they're trying to build a railroad.
Oh yeah.
So what have you been up to, Cuddles?
Just chilling. Another day in a beautiful paradise we call 100-degree heat in Texas.
Hmm. You know what my theory is, don't you?
Mm.
My theory is all these Californians are migrating to Texas with one goal: to become the voting majority and to vote to take away the guns.
Well, good luck. At the common law, they can't do nada. But I mean, people gotta read and learn, like what I just posted. It's in black and white, man.
Well, what does it say? Read it, man,
The
because
term citizen in the United States is analogous to the term subject in the common law. The change of phrase has resulted from the change in government. State versus Manuel. Privileges and immunities of citizens of the United States do not necessarily include all the rights protected by the first 8 amendments to the federal Constitution against the powers of the federal government. Maxwell versus Dow. The only absolute and unqualified right of a United States citizen is to residence within the territorial boundaries of the United States. U.S. versus Valentine. So, states, the citizen of one of the several states, and a U.S. citizen are not the same thing. But the bar dogs will tell you that it is, even though they're commies and they're not lawfully allowed to operate within the states of the Union. Yet here they are. Actually, do I still have that? I got a video on this. I think that's it. Yep, that's it. Just posted it. United States is a crown colony, and the crown owns and operates the crown owned corporation. Good stuff. The United States is a colony made by the crown, but the states of the Union were made by the people of the states. Oh, you're not even recording this right now, are you?
no, I'm live streaming.
Oh snap! Well, shoot! Did y'all run out of stuff to talk about?
She joined in April of 22 and claims a year here. Oh, wait.
Yeah, but she got booted, remember?
Yeah, I was going to say, oh, wait. Durango. Durango. Bitch ass that DJ hole.
Dumb wild dingo.
Man. Oh, whatever. I swear this is the last chance.
What's the matter with you?
Last time. Last time. That's
What's
all
the
I
matter
gotta
with all you
say.
guys, man? Yeah, there
Yesterday,
you go. I like that.
all my troubles seem so far away. And I did not have to hide away. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Why she's got to go, I could say.